The other one concerns a few stats that some of our stats guys have pulled out. A lot more goals conceded is the way they pitched it to me. 143 after five instead of 107 last year. You can turn it around, can't you? More goals scored in the Premier League. What it suggests is that the games generally have been a bit more open. Does that surprise you when you hear that stat, or have you noticed it yourself?
I've not noticed that myself, to be perfectly honest. I think we've got our own situation. I think we've conceded 5 in 5, obviously a goal a game, which is arguably, I think, less than actually over the whole of the season last year that we were conceding. But no, I haven't really got a take on that really. I think it seems to be maybe a lot more away teams going to places and having a go and maybe catching people on counter-attacks. That's what's happened to us on a couple of occasions, certainly in our home games. And I think I've looked at other games obviously since the season started, and it seems to be that there's a lot of good results for the away sides. Maybe that suggests that people are having a go away from home. I know from our point of view we're looking to be arguably more positive than we were last year, and I think it's helping us because we're on a decent run of away form at the moment. So maybe that's something to do with that. I wouldn't say exactly that is the key factor, but certainly maybe it's something to think about.
Thank you. You started a bit of a League Cup run now. You're down to the last 16. I wonder whether you look at that, and I know you've said it's an important competition for you, and you've proved that with the 4 teams you've put out there. Last 16, Southampton at home. No disrespect to them, but you've got a chance, haven't you? You've got a chance of going a decent distance in this competition.
Well, we said at the beginning of the year, and you've heard me say before, that it was a priority for us. We wanted to do well in the cup competitions. There's only 2 out of 3 competitions we're in that we can realistically win. So we'll try our utmost to progress in both of them. The League Cup has been good to me as a player. Had decent success as a manager, getting to semi-finals and what have you. So I'd love to go all the way if we can. It's not easy. We've got another Premiership team to go up against as we were in the last round, but I think if we can overcome the Southampton, who in fairness have started really well themselves and are looking fine form, so it won't be easy, but I think if we can overcome them, then there'll be another Premier League side out of the competition. There'll be others that will go out as well, so you get to the final 8 or so, then you're looking at maybe not too many Premier League teams still involved. There may well be a few big sides, to be perfectly honest, but who knows? It's a cup competition, so even they may go out because there's been surprises already. So we're very excited by it. We want to progress as far as we can. We did okay last year. We got up to similar round, I think, but found Manchester United on the day were just a little bit better than us. But if we can keep on going and maybe progress to even further than last year, then we'll be delighted.
Some of the players that you've played in the midweek game really impressed. Stephen Ireland as well, coming back from injury. I wonder whether he comes straight into your thoughts for Monday now.
Well, they all do, in fairness to them, because I thought they all acquitted themselves really well. I was really pleased with the level of performance. The results, obviously, was vitally important to us as well, but I feel, given the quality of the squad that we have, even if I make changes, it's not to the detriment of the team really, because the strength of the players we have in the squad now is really high. So you take one out and there's somebody else replacing that player of comparable ability in my view. So that shows where we are at the moment. So that's encouraging because we're going to need everybody. And the pleasing thing from my point of view was how well they came in and looked up to speed, each and every one of them. And I think that's credit to the work that they do on a daily basis, because if you just allow yourself to be a little bit disappointed because you're not involved in the first team, or you feel you haven't had enough game time, then your focus and your intensity to your work can dip if you allow it to. But that doesn't happen with this group. They're very conscientious and they know that there'll be games that they'll be needed, so they have to train correctly, and we saw that on Tuesday.
Jack Butland maybe reminded you that he's a quality goalkeeper who'd like to be playing more. Is there any chance you might let him go out on loan at this stage?
Well, you don't have to remind me that Jack's a player.
He probably wants to remind you that.
Yeah. He did very well. I was really pleased once again with what he produced for us, and made key saves at key moments for us as well, which is important. Sign of a good keeper. So we may look at it. It's something that we've discussed, obviously, because we want Jack to keep on developing, because the way we've approached his development, I think it's been the correct way, and he's been able to benefit from going out on loan. But we haven't got a real view on it. We probably maybe look at maybe January or so, possibly. Only as much as that. Ideally, we would probably elect him to gone out in the last window. It didn't happen for whatever reason. Wasn't quite right. Some of the situations that we investigated. So, if it's not right for Jack, or we don't think it's the right club, then he won't go out, because he'll get games here as well. So, it's just about making sure that if he does go out, it's the right club.
I don't think we've had a chance to ask you about Manuel Pellegrini's comments since we've last seen him. The ones where it was a while ago. The ones where he said Chelsea behaved like a small club when they went there to play them, much like Stoke had behaved. Do you take any umbrage with the fact that he called Stoke a small club?
No, it's not point regurgitating that. I think everybody understood what he meant. I think he was possibly disappointed in the way Chelsea approached the game, but having seen us play exceptionally well a couple of weeks prior, why wouldn't Chelsea follow what we did? So we didn't take any umbrage with it. It was more a take, Man City's manager's take on how he thought one of the top teams went up against him. So we didn't take it as a criticism of ourselves. I think on the day they were very gracious in defeat, in fairness. Sometimes that doesn't happen at big clubs, but on the day we felt we deserved the victories, and said so. So we were pleased with how we performed on the day, and we deserved to win.
Good man. Finally from me, Alan Pardew, you come up against on Monday. Always having a tough time of it. I mean, I don't think you've ever had a situation where you've come out and been booed by your fans before the game's even started. Not before the game's even started, have you?
I've been close a few times.
Have you got some sympathy for him then?
Yes, it seems to be a difficult time at the moment, but Alan's a very experienced Premier League manager, and he's been there a long time. What is it? Maybe his 4th, 5th season, I think, there, in charge of a big club with big demands and big expectations, and he's been, I seem to recall, he's been through similar periods before, and he's come out the other side, and it seems that he's shaping the team, and there's been a lot of changes which he's had to deal with, but it seems shown a lot of character, it seems, in the last couple of games, and look like they're still playing for him, and as a manager you want to see your players still doing that, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be doing that for him, because like I said, he's a good experienced manager at this level. So certainly the players seem to be still playing for him, and he has the capacity and the ability, I'm sure, to turn the situation around. He's done it before. From our point of view, it's a bit of a shame, really, because he seems to have had a little bit of a turn in confidence in terms of the team. 2 good performances, came back from a difficult situation in the league, and then obviously had a great win in midweek as well, so the confidence is probably higher than it was maybe 10 days ago. So we'll have to be mindful of that, but obviously we just want to take care of our own business, and if that adds to the pressure that Alan seems to be under, he understands that's what we have to do. So it's a difficult business that we're in, and you don't like to see managers coming under pressure.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm just going to say, are you worried that you're catching Newcastle on a bit of an up? As I say, this time last week, for instance, everybody was writing the obituaries, but with a draw and a win, it could be that you've got the reverse happening.
Well, it could be if we allow that to be maintained, which means that we don't perform correctly, and we allow them to enhance their confidence levels. And if we do that, then they're a good sign. You look at their squad in terms of the individuals they have and the quality they have, then it's on paper it's a very, very difficult fixture for us, but we feel we're in a good place at the moment. Our home form, we've had two home games. We haven't got a point on the board yet, but that's not to say we've been really poor. Against Villa, we weren't happy with the performance, but certainly against Leicester, I thought we deserved something out of that game. So we've got another opportunity now against a good team, but one that we've gone up against in the past and overcome. So we'll want to do that on Monday because it's an important fixture for us.
Tactically, do you think you might have to approach home games slightly different? And in other words, for years and years, people have said going to the Britannia Experience, tough game, and now you haven't managed to win there this season.
Well, it's still a tough place to come. I think if you look at our form last year at home, it was better than some of the years before. So we fully anticipate that our form, certainly our home, will return. What we talked about before the season started was that we needed to align our away form to our home form. It's gone a little bit awry in terms of that, but we're very enthused by what we're doing on our travels, and we feel very, very confident that our home form will return very, very quickly. So all things told, we're looking forward to a very successful season.
Final one for me. You alluded in the question a few minutes ago that the team at Sunderland gave you food for thought. I wonder whether Muniz has given you food for thought with a couple of goals and a sparkling display.
Yeah, he gives me that every day because you see the quality that he has. He's technically a very good football player, and I don't think he would admit that goal scoring is one of his strengths, but obviously on the night he had a great day, great obviously experience in terms of being able to get in good areas and take chances. So we're really pleased for him. We like Mark as a player, we like him as an individual as well, and he's still developing. He's still a very young man in terms of years and in terms of his understanding of the Premier League, but he's getting better every week and every day he trains with us, and we're really pleased for him. He's a good player, but I've got a lot of good players, and they're all pushing for places, and that's what I want. If you haven't had an opportunity, or I feel you deserve one, then when you do get one, you've got to try and make an impression, and a lot of them did on Tuesday night, so I'm delighted with that.
Thank you.
Mark, I was dropping my kid off at school this morning, and the teacher said, "Oh, that Capital One draw, it's pretty rough." And I said, "Yes, Southampton are a very difficult side." He says, "No, it's the fact we have to play them at home." Is it? You're doing too well away. What do you make of that draw then? Better than the last one, probably.
Well, I think when you get to latter stages of competitions, or any stage in the competition, you want a home draw. So I don't think we can be too disappointed. Southampton are a good team. They had an excellent result themselves against Arsenal, so they're not to be underestimated. But certainly, you could argue there was stronger teams in the competition that you would want to avoid. We've been able to do that. There's certainly weaker teams in competition still that we possibly would have favoured, but in a one-off game against anybody, we'll take our chances. So we're looking forward to it. By the time it comes around, I feel certain we will have any number of home wins under our belt. Let's hope that's the case. So that'll help our form going into the game.
I think there's really only one way to look at the Newcastle game, I think, is not to look at their manager, but to say, oh, you're playing at home against the bottom side. Isn't that sort of a possibility of a banana skin happening there?
Well, yeah, we're focusing on our next game, which is a home game where we've put ourselves in a situation where we wanted more points at this stage, because we looked at our home games and felt we'd take points out of them. We haven't been able to do that, but as I made the point earlier, from our point of view, we feel home form is just around the corner. Obviously, we're very pleased with our away form at the moment. So I think going back to last year, we were on something like 11, 12 games. We've only been defeated twice on the road, which is against Man City and Chelsea. So it's a good run of form away from them. But obviously, we want to get back up on track here, which we feel we certainly have the capability of doing and doing so very, very soon. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. See you later.